Here we go.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Way Love Goes podcast. We thank you so much for joining us. Sorry about being 2 minutes late. Y'all need to pray for me. I need help with time management. If I don't need help with anything else, I need help with time management. I've been off for about an hour now, an hour and a half. And what have I been doing?
An hour and a half. Okay. Hey, good. You know, good thing Sean ain't on here. He would be jumping right on that.
Right. So, thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But my name is Tierra Monique first, and
my name is
go ahead,
Dondeez. Sorry, guys, Dondeez.
And we thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Way Love Goes podcast.
Baby.
So we talk about everything relationships, from marriage to dating to divorce, separation, and all the things in between. And today's topic is emotional baggage. We're all going to be talking about emotional baggage.
Well, I like the way that slid in right there. That was dope.
Yeah.
a little extra flair. Yeah. That's like that slide in thing from PowerPoint from back in the day. You should just fly in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, StreamYard. I see you.
We still use that.
With the 80s throwback. I feel it.
You know what, you guys?
Emotional baggage.
But yeah, emotional baggage. I forgot to turn off my dryer. We are live.
Man, I'll talk to the people, yo. This is live. She about to go turn off her dryer. Guys. We'll talk. We'll just chat. We're just gonna talk for a moment, okay? She's going turn off her dryer. She got to do what she got to do. I'm up in here, and we just living life, guys. We're living life. Today we're talking about emotional baggage. I don't know if you personally have experienced the discovery of your own emotional baggage. Perhaps you didn't even know you had emotional baggage. I know I'm talking about it kind of like jokingly, but it's serious, actually. But until she gets here and we just are stalling for time while she's doing what she got to do, we are going to look into ourselves and see if we have emotional baggage. You're going to get yourself ready. You're going to get your mind, spirit, soul, whatever, right and ready to say, you know what? I do have emotional baggage. I've got some. Here's my bag right here. There, I see two Louis Vuitton, because it was an expensive, costly experience. Louis Vuitton. You gotta get the pronunciation right. Emotional baggage over there, looking nice and hefty, But we're gonna talk about some questions. We're going to evaluate this topic. What is it? Where is it? Why is it?
Okay.
All of the things that are happening is going to happen. And now that she's back, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So emotional baggage, y'all. Emotional baggage. So many of us have heard of this before. Let me pull up the docket here so I can go off the notes. But yeah, so many people have heard of emotional baggage before. If you could just imagine, let's see. If I took all of these bags and I'm like, you know what? Look, it's a trash bag right here. Let me go ahead and just try to get myself into a relationship relationship. I got all these bags all over me. I'm trying to bring all of my emotional baggage, my insecurities, my
I should grab some.
abandonment issues, being possessive, holding on to what the other guy or the other girl did to me.
Let
I'm
me
just,
grab some stuff too.
yeah, look, it's like here I am. I got all this stuff on me. I'm
Let
taking
me
everything
grab
with
some
me.
stuff too.
I got my scary bags. I
Oh,
mean, but here I am. I'm
oh, let's
ready.
take
I'm
this
ready
too.
for love. I'm ready to be loved. I'm ready to be in a relationship. I'm ready to be married. And it's like, no, sir, no, sis, you are not ready. You are not ready to be in a
Yeah,
relationship. Because you got to do what? Get rid of all of these bags.
right.
The
Get rid of
trash
it.
bag. All
Oh,
the bags.
I got this too. Yeah, forgot my box. Yeah,
Right.
this was a special problem. Has a little ribbon on it there. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
We're
I'm ready
ready.
for love. Ready.
We
All
think we're
right.
ready. We think we're ready, but we are not ready for love. We are
Gotta get rid
not
of it.
ready to be in a healthy relationship when we want to bring in so many bags, right?
Shed it.
You cannot have a healthy relationship with emotional baggage. You
Absolutely
cannot
not.
have a healthy relationship. Every time someone says something, you just like you popping off. That was like a key word from Wednesday night at my church for Bible study. The key word was popping off. You always popping off. You know how like church people get a hold of a word.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so that
just run it into the
was
ground.
popping off. That was so funny. So
Pop it off.
yeah, we popping off. So we want to tap in today about emotional baggage and should you take it or should you leave it? Should you take on
You
someone's
gonna check them
emotional baggage
bags?
or should right at the door, at the gate? No one wants have to deal with nobody's emotional baggage.
Yeah. I like one of the articles that we had that it gives it a new term. We'll get to it, but they gave a different term to emotional
Okay.
baggage, like a nice term. So yeah, when we get there, I'll let y'all know what the term that they use is.
Okay.
It's nice.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay. So so the other songs that come to mind
Mm,
outside of Erica Badu's Bag is Danny Kane. They were talking about
damage.
damage. I thought that I should let you know. So
Why are
are
people
you gonna
dancing to that?
fix it? We were jamming to that. We were
Yeah,
like,
that's like
hey,
Kev on stage has a he had this joke about City High and how it was so trash that we used to dance to that song. What would you do when your
yeah.
son is at home,
Son was
crying all alone on the bedroom floor, and he's hungry, and the only way to feed him is to sleep with the man for a little bit of. I mean, golly, what? And we are dancing our life away, and here we are dancing to
right.
damage. But that's what we be
Damage.
doing in life. That's what we be
Yes.
doing. Popping
Yes.
off.
Yes, we romanticize all of our damage. That song was basically saying, I'm damaged, and are you gonna fix me? And that's one thing that you should not be doing is trying
Exactly.
to get in a relationship with someone, knowing, expecting them to fix what you need to be fixing before you get into a relationship with them. So that's a no. And then of course, my bro
Absolutely not.
reminded me that Usher, you remind me, is another type of emotional baggage when you're constantly comparing the new person to the old person and you feel
Oh
like you can't
Lord,
it
that's the
because
worst.
Usher was like, you remind me of a girl that
That
I
I was down. See your face whenever I
hey to your
look
face.
at you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Come on, guys.
Right. Yeah. So you
That
can't
would
do
that would
that.
suck though. That would be tough. Like if it was an actual real terrible relationship, and then the new person looked like them,
Right.
you gotta. That's when you gotta start looking at
Mhm.
yourself and be like, okay, I got a problem because I picked this person
Absolutely.
who looks like the other
Uh,
person. That's
right.
that's that's that's
And
that's
that's a
that's
cycle.
issues
That's
right
a
there.
cycle because some of us we are attracted to the same kind of toxicity that we just left,
Mm,
and we get in it with
mm,
this thing. Like that's like a part of that bad boy thing that a lot of women like to go for, the bad guy. Like he has
mm.
an edge. Like he don't ever call me back, but I love him. Like where they do that at? Like why would you want somebody who don't ever call you back? So yeah, so those emotional baggage issues, we're gonna get into all that. But before we do that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your mother, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your friend, tell your enemy
Oh,
to like,
yeah.
share, and subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget to do that. We
Right.
want to help other people navigate this way of love and relationships. We want to help people. D has experience in marriage. I have experience in marriage and divorce, separation, and dating. So, oh, and you dated too, right? You dated before you
Yeah,
got married. So
I
yes, it's very
dated. I
cool.
dated at one point. Yeah.
So yeah, so
It
don't
was
forget to
before
like,
the
share,
digital
subscribe,
age.
and put
Hmm.
a digital age, and comment so that you can know when we're going to go live. Hit that notification bell and share. All right, let's
Yeah.
go ahead and get into the episode, emotional baggage.
Emotional
All right,
baggage,
so
man.
emotional baggage. What is emotional baggage?
What is it,
According
guys?
to Sabrina Romanoff, she's a clinical psychologist and professor at Yeshiva University. She said that emotional baggage is unfinished emotional issues, stressors, pain, and difficulties we've experienced that continue to take up space in our minds and affect our present relationships.
Mm,
Ooh. So it's unfinished emotional issues. So unfinished, meaning that
unfinished.
you have not closed that. It has not been you haven't closed that chapter in your life. It's like, you know how we always want to have closure with people. You have to have closure with your emotions. You know, all that stress, that pain, all those difficult experiences that continue to take up your mind space and cause you not to be able to progress when it comes in the areas of relationship. Do you have your own definition of emotional baggage, sir?
Let me see. Let me dig into my personal encyclopedia to see what do we agree with what they've said. We do. I would add to it probably that emotional baggage is I'll kind of make it literal, right? It's the weight.
Okay.
It's the weight
Yeah.
that you carry
Mm-hmm.
from those things. Like literally, it weighs on your heart. It weighs on your mind. It's like the psychological weight of the unfinished thing. So I'll just add that little descriptor on to it. Like, but pretty much I do agree with it. It's unfinished, and that's why it weighs on you still because it's just hanging
Exactly.
around. It's stopping your movement
Exactly.
and your freedom. It's
Yeah.
weighing you down.
Yeah. It definitely is. So, um, hold on. What happened? I'm paused. Am I frozen over there?
Mm-mm. I see
Nah.
you.
Okay.
I see you. I see you.
That's me.
Yeah, you good. You
Okay.
good.
My computer's doing something weird.
Yeah.
So give me on a second, y'all. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of this. Emotional baggage. So causes of unresolved trauma, abuse, childhood trauma, neglect, or unmet needs, painful breakups or romantic conflicts, and other stressful, frightening, or traumatic events. These are causes of unresolved trauma. And when you have this type of trauma, it can cause you to have
Mm,
emotional baggage, and you can carry all of these things into a new relationship. I mean, if
mm,
you were abused by someone in your past, whether it be a romantic relationship, or a father or a mother or anybody in your family or a friend, whoever, you can carry that. If you have not dealt with that abuse, you can carry that into your relationship, and you can either one become abusive to your partner, or you and not only just physically, but verbally, or you will
mm,
always think that they are trying to be abusive to you. Like you can take on like a fearful personality, like a fearful character trait where, you know, you're always scared of everything that happens because you have built up this wall, this mechanism around your brain that says, I'm not going to go too far or get too close to you because everybody who got close to me abused me. So I don't want to get too close to you. I don't, you know, you may abuse me. So now you're out of fear. So either you will do the abuse or you'll be so afraid that someone will abuse you that you don't even let anybody get close. Yeah.
And
And
that's
that's again,
annoying.
yeah, that's annoying. Childhood trauma, neglect, unmet needs, painful breakups, all that stuff can cause you to carry emotional baggage into your relationship. What you
Oh,
got to say?
let me say it like this because so I just said that's annoying. I don't want you to think I'm being insensitive. I mean, it's annoying for both people, for the partner and for the person who's actually dealing with it because you might in your mind you're like wanting to move past this thing. You're wanting to start
Right.
fresh and you start going and what happened to me in my relationship is I'll not even be thinking about whatever these particular triggers are, you know, just trying to have a good time in the relationship and something will come up and then you're like, dang, that like froze me for a
Right.
moment because I'm now thinking about this thing that I have unresolved and I haven't dealt with, I haven't processed, and now I can't get it out of my mind. It's like worse than the baby back rib song from Austin Powers. He just
Right.
couldn't get it out of his head. But like seriously, the thing is sitting there, and you're just like, man, I want to move past, but now every single thing I look at is it's all internal, but I'm looking at everything now through this lens of my trigger that I just got when I wasn't trying to do it. And that is annoying when you are trying to get over something, when you're trying to move past something. You know, that lets you know it's something that's more than just within your control. It's really something
Right.
that takes work and process through.
Right. I had a clip for you all to see about
Mm-hmm.
how like you can be triggered emotionally about and how to set boundaries. But unfortunately, I don't know how to bring it over to StreamYard. Do you know how to bring it over to StreamYard? I have no idea. I tried to download it and it didn't do it. But we'll come back to it if Dee, you can figure it out. And
Oh
then
yeah.
but yeah, but anyway, it was a clip that by Whitney LaBelle. She's on Instagram and it was called you can follow her. She's a really good person to follow. I think hers is called Just Whitney. Just
Mm,
Just Whitney. Something like that.
yeah.
Yes, Just Witty. And he
Let me
had
see if
a
I can
thing
find it. I'll work
called
on it while you're
creating
doing it.
boundaries. And okay, the person that came in and they were like, you know, hey, I want she's like, so I can't I gotta tell you about what happened with me and this person, like as soon as the person got in the car, and she was like, I do not have the capacity.
Mm,
I don't have the capacity. And people who have emotional baggage or don't know how to set boundaries, sometimes you have to tell them, I do not have the capacity to take on your emotional baggage in this relationship or in this dating process, because we can meet people while we're getting to know them and we can bring all this stuff over into trying to get to know them. They're like, wait a minute, I'm just trying to meet you. I'm not even the person that you used to deal with. Why are you trying to make me out to be that person? Or, you know, why are you trying to bring all this emotional baggage from that relationship into this one? And so we have to
yeah.
remember that the people who hurt us before are not the people who are going to hurt us now. And again, not to say that you're never going to be disappointed in a relationship or in a marriage. You will be disappointed. But it's a difference between I was hurt and abused and, you know, I was in a toxic relationship and that created insecurities in me, and fears and anxiety. And now I'm in this new thing. You're not supposed to expect the new person to do the same thing. That's why you have to figure out how to heal yourself before you get into something new, because
Right.
that's yeah, it's not a good thing. So
Do you wanna do you have the link open like to Instagram?
Yeah,
Because what you could do, you could share your screen and then you could play it.
Oh, okay. How do I share my screen?
Yeah. Down at the bottom where it says, at the bottom
present?
down there where it says present and then share screen.
Oh,
you can try that.
You are so smart.
We learning on the fly, y'all.
Fly.
But we doing it because we want you to process this. We want y'all to see what Whitney was talking about, so you can know what we talking about. So we all be talking about the same thing. You dig? We're trying to work this out.
Can y'all see it? Can you see it?
Did you share your screen?
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Yeah, this one. Wants to be a share. Okay, window. Screen. No, this one. No, the entire screen. No, just the window.
This is real live, people. This is real live. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna work it out.
Hold on, y'all. It's my fault because I was supposed to practice this before I came on, and I don't know what I was doing. I got distracted. Okay. Do you see anything? Oh yeah, there it is. Share. Okay, there it is. Share. Okay.
There we go. It's finna happen,
Stream,
y'all.
are you sharing your? All right, here we go. Y'all see
there
this?
We go. Yeah, just click it for the sound.
Instagram screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do I start it over?
Just push. Just push the refresh up at the top, the circle. Yeah. We're gonna get it, guys. We're gonna get it.
Here we go. Here it is. So it's called Creating Boundaries Part 3, okay?
Got an OnlyFans page sucking toes. I don't have the capacity. Where I'm taking you? Turn out this lovely night. Hey, girls. Oh, Whitney, I'm so happy you here, girl. Let me tell you about Brandon. He played me again. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Oh, girl, Jesus. Oh, girl, Jesus.
Just left.
Hello. Hey. I'm not gonna make it tonight. Wait, you trying to go out tonight?
No, I'm kind of tired.
But it's your off day. It's your
No.
Rolls up the window and solidifies the statement.
Oh, wow, thanks for asking. No, today's a day for me too. But later I'm going to my prayer closet. Would you like for me to take something to the Lord for you? It's the toes, sis. Faithfulness, faithful. That makes sense. Girl, how about I found out my man got an OnlyFans page sucking toes?
That thing is so
I
funny.
don't have the capacity.
They said
that is so
you got that, and so many people do not have the ability to just do that. It's really simple, but it's not. It's what it is. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's like, okay,
easy.
I don't have the capacity to talk about this. Sorry, bye, and just leave. Just go. Just peace out.
But I like how she was like, shout out to Whitney LaBelle. Again, follow her on Just Witty at Instagram, or just type in Whitney LaBelle.
She's the one whose wig fell off. If y'all are like trying to figure out who she is, the wig video.
She's the one
her wig fell off in the podcast.
Yeah, on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, which was hilarious, but it like really skyrocketed her into the stratosphere. But that was like, I mean, her examples are so good because you can use those in relationships and like romantic relationships, not just in friendships, but you can use them in romantic relationships, because if someone is coming to you and they have all of this, emotional baggage, you can go, you know what? I don't have the capacity for that. So, and then pause and let them take that in, and then go and then continue, because you have to set boundaries. You have to set
Yeah.
boundaries, and like that part where she was like, when you continue to set boundaries, then the person go, oh, okay, so let me go ahead and approach you differently. And by the end, her friend was like, oh, hey sis, do you have the capacity to hear what I gotta say today? Because I need somebody to talk to. And then she was like, you know what? I had a bad day today too. So how about I just pray for you? Which is like, that
That's
should
all
be
you
what
need.
happens. You are not someone's therapist. Yes, it is good to have
Right.
a confidant, somebody to talk to and talk about your problems and and vent, whatever. But if every time we talk, you're always talking about the same thing, I'm sorry. We need to have a new dynamic of our friendship. I don't want to constantly come and pour all my problems on you, and you don't want to always come constantly pouring your problems on me. So let's pray about this together and give it to God and ask God,
Pray to the
for you
Lord.
to get some help some other place, or redirect somebody to a YouTube channel like The Way Love Goes to find out how to navigate love, on all these other different platforms that can help
Send them
you in
to
your relationship.
us.
Send
Yeah.
them to us. Send them to us.
Send them to
Send them to
us,
us.
man.
So yeah. So that is also emotional baggage, because somebody is always I mean, it's not always something that's crazy, but it's like somebody who's always stressed out. You ever talk to somebody who's always stressed out and they've
Yeah.
never dealt with how to deal with their stress? And every time you talk to them, it's like, oh, I'm just stressed out all the time. I'm like, okay, we all
You
stressed
see
out in
them
life.
coming, you're like,
No. You're like,
dang
no,
it. Hey,
no.
John. Hey, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just not a good look. So do you want to go ahead and get to the Q&A, or do you want to talk
Oh,
about
you know what? Well, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about some of one of these articles, man, because there was some good old fashioned goodness in that emotional baggage. So there's the one that we were started to talk about is called emotional baggage symptoms, causes, and
right?
coping strategies from the Very Well
Mm-hmm.
Mind. So that's where our definition came from. But
Right.
I wanted to talk about some of those symptoms, man, because I'm wondering if you have felt it, if it
Okay.
seems far off, because sometimes you might not agree with it. I mean, these lists are not exhaustive, but it's just kind of people's perspective. So I wanted to look through these symptoms of, and the term that they use, because emotional baggage has sort of a negative connotation. They use this term
Right.
unresolved trauma, which I think
Right.
is probably a more specific uh, what is it? I think it's a good term because it's a more specific name for what's actually taking place. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
unresolved trauma. So one of the first things that they said is a symptom of this is your lack of trust. You can look in your relationship and you can see lack of trust, but what's behind that is this idea that
Right.
hurt in the past, that you might use that as a template to guide what you
Right.
expect your current relationship to be. So sometimes templates are good if you work in an office, if you have
Yeah.
Microsoft Word and you've got a lot of the same type of thing to do, but it's going to usually produce the same thing. All right. A template
Right.
produces the same thing, which I thought was such a good point because it's like, if you don't want this, why make this your template? But the
Right.
first thing you got to do is understand that, hey, what you're doing right now is you're using your template of pain from your template of past pain and trying to bring that format into your new relationship. So, it's probably not a good idea, because what happens is then you have difficulty with commitment, and
Mm-hmm.
you're emotionally unavailable to your new partner, and that's like off the rip, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know how you could see your relationship going well if from the start you've got those two things already working against you. Difficulty with commitment and you're unemotionally available. Because the whole point about a relationship is that you're supposed to be trying to get to, especially in the early stages. The whole thing is you're trying to get to know each other. And like I was thinking about, we were looking at some episodes of the Love on Stage.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, I guess she and a guy, their relationship had a rough patch. And when they met in person, it was quite standoffish, right? And I could just imagine, like, that was kind of like because of a rift. But imagine if you're coming into a relationship that standoffish, like that is the quickest way, I'm thinking, to kill a relationship, right? Lack of trust is one of those things. Another one that they said was another one that they pointed out was fear and paranoia. I thought I hadn't even really. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I hadn't really processed it because it's saying like you might feel like your preoccupation with a painful past experience is helping you avoid future pain. So you might think of this, all right, this is a good tactic. I'm gonna go into this relationship and I'm gonna have my blinders on, right? I'm not my blinders on. I'm gonna have my alerts up. Like I'm looking left and right, making sure any type of pain we looking for it because we not finna get hurt again, right? But what happens is you begin to close yourself off from the possibilities of the new experience, right? Maybe something that requires you to be open. You're cutting yourself off from that, and so you are kind of like limiting the goodness that this current experience has to offer you, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, if you're operating from a space of paranoia, you self-fulfill what you are afraid of, and that always is such an interesting dynamic. I feel like that's like a dynamic in nature. If you work extremely hard to avoid something, that's usually exactly what you end up having to deal with. Like that very thing that you're fighting so hard against is what you end up having to deal with. And I think part of the dynamic of that is because you're practicing all these behaviors to ward that off. But instead, all of those behaviors are exactly what attracts that thing. So I thought those three, there was other ones, but I thought those three symptoms of emotional baggage making its appearance in your current new whatever situation you got. I thought those are some things to kind of reflect on and to look for because they will pop up and be making their home right in the middle of your relationship and you don't even know it.
Right. It's been, and especially like with the paranoia and the fear, because then you'll create things in your mind. You'll create things that's not even happening. It'll cause you to look crazy because you're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like you're always going to be thinking somebody's cheating on you. You're always going to think somebody doesn't take you seriously. You're always going to think somebody is lying to you. I'm a witness, I guess you say. Can I get a witness? That's me.
Yes.
That is me. Yeah. Because of the hurt that I inflicted, because sometimes the hurt that we inflicted on others and then the hurt that was inflicted on us, we'll go, oh, well, since I did it, I know you're going to do this to me. Or since this happened to me, oh, I know this is going to happen again. That's why like so many people, I think also a caveat to that is like why people are like very hesitant on getting in committed relationships because they see so many other people getting out of them or like being cheated on and being hurt that they say, oh, well, this is going to happen. If that happens to them, it's going to happen to me. And that's why we cannot put other people's relationships on a pedestal that you don't even know what happened behind the scenes. People go, "Oh, this is why I'm not getting married," because if they couldn't work it out, well, why are they your measurement? Why are they your
Right.
measurement of a marriage is supposed to look like? Because you only know what you saw on screen. You don't know what happened behind closed doors. That's why that whole thing with Nia Long and her boyfriend and the whole thing, like, oh, how could he do that to her? Well, why not? Not to say that he should have, but what makes her better than any other woman who got cheated on? Like all the other celebrities deal with it. Halle Berry, Jennifer Lopez, they're just in the spotlight. But there are many women just like them who have been in relationships that didn't work out, whether based on what they did in the relationship or what was done to them. So you cannot create your own, scary narrative in your brain and think that everyone's going to act the way that someone else did. So
And
those are good.
well, the interesting thing too, I saw. So there's I was watching this show. I think it's called what is it called? Funny Bad Advice, Bad Funny Advice. It's on this one of these YouTube networks, like all digital kind of style. It's called Defiant Digital, and there's a I don't know if you know if anybody's heard of the comedian Tangerine and her husband CT, and their relationship is an open relationship. It's a version of an open relationship. So but the way that she described is what got me thinking. So she's like, so the way our relationship works is he can sleep with a woman if he wants to. I just have to know about it first. So he's got to tell me, yeah, there's this woman, da 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 da, whatever. I don't know what the details of it is, but she got to know about it first, because one of the things for her was that growing up, she said she saw like all her uncles and men in her family, they did this, and the marriage didn't break up, but everybody knew, the mom knew that he was down the street or whatever, blah blah blah, and they just kind of stayed together. And so that was an interesting way to see how that emotional baggage had its effect. Like it made it, was kind of like a coping mechanism,
right?
That turned out to be, okay, this is how I'm going to do my open relationship. And like I said, we can't speak on anybody's situation that's not ours, because you don't know all of their things. But I always wish that it could be better. Like, instead of saying, all right, well, since I know this is going to happen anyway, here's how my paranoia is and avoidance is going to work. I'm just going to set up something where I know that this is going to be what happens, and then it just happens, and then now I'm fine with it because I just know about it, not because I'm okay with it. Just now it's not a secret, it's just out there. So we've eliminated cheating by saying, all right, you could still be with other people, I just need to know about it first. And that's how it's working for them. But I wish society didn't have to be that way. I wish it could be that people would fight harder to just stay committed, to each other in that way. So yeah, that's an interesting way that you see that paranoia and fear sort of working out, because maybe it might be difficult, but maybe in that struggle you do find a stronger bond. And I don't know how that bond works out with them now. I guess it's working out fine because they're still together. They've been together for a while, but how much stronger could it be? How much like higher quality of a relationship could it be if they were due to just give all the energy to each other, as opposed to letting off some here, letting off there, that kind of thing, like that.
Right. That's right. True. Okay. So let's ask the question. Okay. Should you date if you have one or two unfinished emotions? So that's what we go. Even though it's emotional baggage, if you have unfinished emotions, should you date? Should you date? And how many bags are okay for someone to have? How many emotions should someone have? And is it a non-negotiable? So that's 3 questions, y'all. Should you date if you have unfinished emotions? 2, how many bags are okay? How many unfinished are okay to bring in? This is a take it or leave it, emotional baggage. Or is it a non-negotiable if someone has not completely healed from their emotional baggage? So what say you, Mr. Dondeez?
Listen. First off, everybody has something.
Exactly.
So unless you're gonna be a monk off in the crevice of a mountain, the crevasse of a mountain, by yourself
Right.
forever, you're gonna be dating somebody that's got something. They got at least a
Right.
little carry on. They got a little carry on, something. They got something. You know, you know what I mean. I have to check in like oversized luggage, but they may have themselves, a little bag or two. So I would say, yes. The caveat I'll put to that is if it, if it's unresolved trauma that you recognize that you have, and you're not ready, then don't
Right.
go throwing yourself into some situation, because you just what's gonna happen is you're gonna compound what you have, right?
Right.
Yeah, you have to work through them and be transparent. That's how you uh that's the proper way, Glenda. That is the way that you approach the relationship. Because
Right.
if you have it up front, then you're just like how we were talking about, with mental health. When you
Right.
get to the point where you feel like you can share with the
Mm-hmm.
person that you're in a relationship with, then
Right.
that can become a resource as opposed to a hazard that you're like, oh shoot, I don't know, how to do this, but
Right.
I know what's up. I'm not caught off guard. We're working
Right.
together and probably going to be able to resolve the situation. And stuff like emotional baggage, may even be able to be healed or reduced, or, whatever. The situation may be able to improve much sooner than, any other problems, because you have now made it not a weight. You've made it something that you both know about and you're both working on. So I would
Right.
definitely say, gauge yourself, but yeah, don't let that stop you from getting into a relationship. Like, happiness should still be yours.
Right. Right. I'm with you on that. I think that we all have
Mm-hmm.
something, just like you said. And it's I piggyback on the fact that if you are aware of it, if you're not aware of your unfinished emotions, sometimes I think some people just don't know and they get into something, and then maybe that person has to point it out to them. And then I guess it's up to you whether or
Mm-hmm.
not you're okay with continuing to talk to someone when you find that stuff out. But and depending on how negatively it impacts the dating process, because if someone has anger issues, they're insecure all the time, if they're impatient, um, if they're constantly, thinking that that you don't like them, you have to constantly reassure them. They don't believe that you're telling them the truth. It's like
Oh, yeah.
that's exhausting that you have to. It's like, well, how come you didn't call me back? How come you didn't call me back right away? And it's like, okay, so we're just getting to know each other. One, maybe I was doing something. Two,
My phone was not charged.
see, right. So it's like someone who doesn't know, and that right there is under the whole umbrella of not knowing how to be by yourself. Because if you know how to be by, if you're happy with yourself, if somebody don't call you back within 20 minutes, you shouldn't be stressing. If they don't call you
Right.
back in like hours, you should not be stressing. Why? Because people work, people got things going on. And if they don't reach out to you for a whole day, then yeah, you're like, okay, like what's up? Because some people do that, especially nowadays
Mm-hmm.
with dating online. People will ghost you, like they'll do like a pregame ghost. Like they won't ghost you
Mm.
completely, but they'll like not talk to you for a day because they're entertaining someone else because they don't know how to multitask. A lot of people do not know how to date multiple people, but they try.
Mm.
So, but anyway, so I'm okay if you are aware of it and you are trying to work on it. I'm
Yeah.
okay you're not aware of it and I bring it to your attention and you then deflect it on me and say I'm the problem, then that's when I go ahead and say deuces. Don't look at my
Chucking
fingernails,
up
y'all.
the deuces.
I mean, I didn't paint my nails, but yeah. So, yeah. So I don't. Do not pass go. Not collect $200. We are not going to continue to talk to each other. How many bags are okay? Like, how many unfinished emotions is okay? Like, is it's okay if they have like one or two, or what if they just bring a whole truckload? Like, boom, here I am. Take
Yeah,
all.
okay. So
Here I
yeah, they're coming to it. I'm thinking about like that montage in Coming to America where they had all those ladies that were coming through, and
right.
he was like interviewing them. Yeah,
Right.
that if they're on those extremes like that, I'm like, nah, you ain't
Yeah.
you ain't ready. You got 4, 5, 6, 7 bags. You got a bellhop behind you carrying the little trolley.
Right.
You're not ready. You're not ready. You need some time. You need some time to deal with your stuff. This is gonna, because you do carry the bags with the person. If you're really in the relationship and you're gonna be sharing, that is something that you are now taking on. And if the thing is too intense, then like I had a buddy one time. He had a girl. He couldn't talk to nobody. He couldn't. She was so jealous, like so jealous. And it's like, okay, first of all, sometimes you have to talk to other women because of your job. Sometimes you got to, talk to people because they're asking. I mean, it's like if I'm hey, that's a homeless old woman on the street. She's just trying to get directions.
Right.
He's not trying to holler. You understands me?
Right.
If it's like intense like that, that bag is huge. So I would say don't have a lot of bags, or don't even have one extremely oversized bag, because you do have to carry it and it don't have the capacity.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm with you. I think that because it's going to slow down the progression of the relationship. It's going to slow down the progression of you dating, because you're collecting data. And if somebody can't even get past you being so insecure that you can't talk to anyone. Now, first of all, when you're dating, you don't belong to nobody. Like, you're just getting to know each other. But even in a relationship, there should be some sense of trust there. I mean, insecurities. I mean, there was a whole series. It was 6 seasons of a show called Insecure that showed us how people create these things in their mind based off of how they were treated before the new person. And you're always thinking that you never measure up when you are, getting involved with people. So yeah, it's like if it's going to slow us down, that determines whether or not how many you got. Like like really. Yeah, but the next one is it a non-negotiable? Yeah. Is it a non-negotiable? It's not a non-negotiable for me. It's not a non-negotiable if I see that you are working through it. And then sometimes I think it depends on what kind. Like what kind of emotional baggage? Do you I don't know. It's like it's always like a yes but a no. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
If I'm dealing with somebody's paranoia, I can't do it.
Right. Right.
If you're always like, if it's something where, there's a difference between like being patient with somebody and like like their paranoia creates your own paranoia, and then you're like both paranoid of each other. So like you come to your date, hey, hello, how are you today? And they're like, I'm fine. How are you?
Right.
I think I'm okay. Where you want to eat? I mean, it's like, it's like if you're both got so much stuff going on in your mind, you're like trying to walk on eggshells. Nah, can't do it. But if it's like, all right, every once in a while this thing pops up, like some people be insecure about, like okay, say for example, like you go with a guy who is a virgin, but you as a woman have been more experienced, and so you have talked about this, and maybe the people that you had in the past, maybe one of the people you shared your experience about was like, yeah, this dude was actually really, really good. He had great experience. He had great moves. He was awesome, you know. And so as you guys get into your relationship and you're starting to talk more about that, this dude is kind of like a little bit insensitive, or he's a little bit sensitive whenever you come into that topic because
Right.
okay, I remember there was that one guy. So if every once in a while, be like, how was that? Was that like Sean level, or and you're like, all right, okay, just come on,
Just forget it.
now you're your level. You're like, okay,
Right.
is that better than Sean or not? Leave Sean out of. Sean is not here. Whatever. So you just got. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's a yes or no. I don't think it's ever non-negotiable, but it can get there. It can get there.
You can definitely
get to the cutoff.
You have to know your boundaries too, because if you've been waiting for a long time to be with someone or be in a relationship with anybody, and the opportunity presents itself, and this person has all this stuff that they're dealing with, some people will be like, you know what? I'll just deal with that when we get to it.
Come on. Oh, you know what? One of the articles, I don't remember which one it was, but they made this one point that sometimes when you're like really desiring a relationship, things that you would not let slide if it was just a friendship, because you're desiring a relationship, you'll let it slide. Yeah, and it's like, if we were just homies, you'd be out of here. But because I'm trying to get me a man or get me a woman,
right?
Let me swallow this hard pill and let's keep it pushing. Lord have mercy, hurting ourselves. That is
so true. That is so true. So, what's your personal baggage that you had when you were going into your relationship with your wife?
Okay, so I noticed I didn't really have a lot, or it hadn't. Maybe it's still deep down. I don't even know, it hadn't come out yet. But two things that came up for me. One was the whole idea of any infidelity, like because of how it was introduced into my family. Like it was with the couple that I was like, man, I would never ever think that this would happen, and then that happened, and it was in the whole it happened over the course of a separation and divorce, and then that was part of it as well. And I was like, dang, man, that is like, it was such a jarring thing that it happened, because it's like, you always know these things happen in the world. Yes, they happen. But then when it comes like home, and you're like, wow, that it for me was so jarring that I always have in my mind a level of suspicion or questioning that I'm like, bro, okay, chill. But it's always happened from every girlfriend I've had since that moment. And it didn't help that the time when that happened in my family, I was doing the play Othello. And if anybody knows the plot of the play Othello, it's one black man with all these white people, and the whole thing is his friend in his head about how his wife's cheating on him, which she wasn't, but they had built the narrative so big that he ends up killing her. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so the fact that I was doing that play and had to actually dig into those kind of emotions at the time when something like that was actually happening in my own personal family, it just kind of, from then on, anytime I had a girlfriend, and I'm married now, and I'll be like, all right, well, where you going? You dressed up kind of nice. You just going to the store, huh? Okay. All right. Okay. So it's not that it's like now at this point in my life, it's not huge. It's like, it'll be some like thing back in the mind. It's like, all right, bro, just flick that away. That's nothing. But
Right.
when I first was dating seriously, like starting in college and on, I used to be very, that used to be very like prominent in my mind. So that was one. The other one that was, it was less, but it was still something, was I mean, I call it clinginess, but I don't know what a more official term would be, but I guess it was just like I used to really want to spend a lot of time with whoever I was dating. And whenever they had other plans that weren't including me, I was like, wait, what? I mean, why? All of my plans have included you. Why are you able to do things with other people? And that used to be, again, when I was first dating in college, that was kind of harder for me to be like, oh, okay, yeah. You still have your own life. You're still your own person, and you could do other things that don't include me. So that was a bit of a hang up, but again, it just took some time, and we just got over it. So it was traumatic at the beginning, because I just felt like I was like less valued to the girl that I was dating. But over time, you just naturally kind of realized, all right, nah, this is not the case. You're actually missing out on hanging out with your friends by being so clingy to this person. So those kind of things kind of work out. But those were for me when I was, especially early in college, those were huge.
Right. Yeah.
What about you?
For me, mine is, I have a band. Well, I say have. I would say I don't think I still have. I had abandonment issues, and I didn't realize until after I had got divorced. But the fact that my dad wasn't around a lot caused me to have emotional baggage where I never thought that I was good enough, and which would cause me to deal with a lot of crap that I should never have dealt with guys, all because I was becoming a people pleaser and trying to do whatever they wanted me to do, or deal with whatever they dealt to me just to keep them around. So
wow, yeah.
I definitely had that. I had anger issues because of what I saw growing up. That caused me to have that kind of emotional baggage. So I did have some outbursts towards my ex-husband that I shouldn't have. But and that's because we see things growing up in different people, whether it's our parents or relatives or whatever, and sometimes we take that on and we don't even know we have it until we are in a relationship and it comes out. Because now we're in that same environment that we saw. So I had abandonment issues, which made me very insecure, which made me become clingy, just like you. And I would stick around. And then because of the infidelity that I did in the marriage, when I got into another relationship, I thought that I had that fear and paranoia where I thought that, because I did it, I know you're going to do it to me too, because there's no way, so it was like, I wasn't trusting everything he said. I become very obsessive. I always wanted to be around him to make sure that, he wasn't doing anything. So it was a, big wake up call after the fact, like, oh girl, you can't do that. Just because you did what you did does not mean you have to project that onto someone else. And everybody's not going to have the same tendency. And yeah, so I had those kind of emotional issues. Absolutely.
Projection is like a huge thing that it happens so subconsciously that it probably sneaks into almost everybody's situation to some degree, man. Just whatever's going on in your mind, you put it on that other person. They'll be like, yo, I'm just making some eggs. That's it. These are just eggs. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so emotional baggage, type, signs, and how to deal with it. So from marriage.com, there was an article we saw, and we had some key points from that. So the types of emotional baggage, the signs, and how to deal with it. So we're not gonna do all of them, but we're gonna do quite a just a little bit. So here's a key point: How to heal from emotional baggage. Trying to view the world more positively. So if you carry around emotional baggage, you can tend to view the world in a negative light. Yeah, you might
All
convince
over the
yourself.
place.
Yeah, you might convince yourself that the world isn't safe or that you'll always be hurt. And you reframe your thoughts. Oh, it says reframing thoughts helps healing. So the example is tell yourself that while you may have been hurt in the past, it has made you a stronger person and taught you important life lessons. And it's taught you how not to be. So if someone hurts you, it teaches you how not to hurt someone else. Or if you hurt someone else, it should teach you how not to do it again.
Yeah.
And not to beat yourself up about it, because sometimes we can hurt other people and then we ask for forgiveness for them, and then and then we have a hard time forgiving ourselves. And then we go into a dating or relationship or into marriage, carrying that unforgiveness towards ourselves, and we end up hurting ourselves, and then we self-sabotage the relationship and self-sabotage the marriage, and then now you're alone again, and now you're trying to do it all over again with someone else, and you haven't forgiven yourself yet. So if you haven't forgiven yourself, it's going to be hard for someone to come in and actually love all of you, because you haven't allowed yourself to heal or even forgive yourself. And I heard this today, which was a reminder. I heard it so many times before, that from a faith standpoint, God does not remember. And so it's like we have God when we mess up in our lives, because if we ask God to forgive us, then that's it. He's forgiven us and it's over. It's like we then have to now take on the mindset of God of forgiving ourselves. And it's hard because we remember, and things can trigger us, a song, a movie, anything, cologne, perfume, food, any kind of memory can trigger us. But we have to remember that if God can forgive and forget, we can forgive and forget and heal ourselves. It doesn't mean that you can forgive and forget to the point where you're going to continue to make the same mistake. You don't want to forget the mistake, but you want to forget to the point where like you're not holding what you did onto yourself to stop your growth and your healing.
Man, I remember there was one of my professors in college, or in my master's program, and when he was talking about when he was pastoring, he says one of the things that I used to have couples do, because he wouldn't get just like new couples for premarital counseling, he'd get older couples, and so he asked them, he's like, were you previously married? And if either of them had said yes, he says the first thing you need to do before we continue this is ask for forgiveness of your ex. And I was like, what? Why? Why are you asking that? Why are you saying that? He says, because you actually took vows with them that you would be together for death to part, and you broke that. I don't know what the situation was, but that was broken. And so whatever your contribution to that was, you asked for forgiveness for that. And it was like, man, I never even thought about that. That is kind of like a form of closure. And he was like, yeah. A lot of people would get mad about it, especially like if, say, the husband had been married before and the woman hadn't been married before, and she's like, no, he's not gonna go do that. And the guy would be like, no, yeah, I should do that. It's actually not that I have any feelings for this woman. It's done. It's clearly it's done. We're together. He says, but that closure actually really seals off that portion of our relationship, especially if it's something where they have kids and they still got to interact and whatever like that. You want to close it off? Do that. Say, this is sealed, this is closed, and now I can fully have this energy in there, because that's something that could be like a sleeper emotion that you haven't even thought about. Yep.
Absolutely. So it says for us to practice self-care, take time to do things you enjoy, follow a healthy diet. Healthy diet, some people, we don't think about that, how important it is about what we eat and what we don't eat, it really can affect our emotions. Because if you ate so much, if you eat a lot of bad stuff, you could walk around feeling sluggish, irritable, and like, but if you like feed your body healthy food, it can actually alter your emotions. Set aside time for a physical activity. You can do yoga. You do things that relieve stress from emotional baggage. And also, if you really really have an issue with trying to get over certain things, you want to seek professional help so you can develop a more positive mindset, and you can learn strategies for coping with fear and anxiety under unpleasant emotions. Okay.
Yeah.
So So what does it mean to have emotional baggage? It means that we talked about this earlier. It means that you are holding on to unfinished issues that that are negatively impacting how you progress and heal as a person. And when you bring it all into a new relationship, it can cause you not to progress. It's like a repellent. It's like emotional baggage is like a repellent. It's like, nope. It's like, no.
Get out of here.
It's like, wait a minute. It's like a good smelling repellent. And let me give you an analogy because have you ever bought some insect repellent that now has like the smell? It doesn't smell like an insect repellent. Like they have like the tropical smell and the lavender smell. Sandalwood or mahogany. And it's supposed to smell so good. And you go, so your emotional baggage is like that. So you are your physical attraction is the smell, is the really good fragrance smell, and then your emotional baggage is the chemical that
kills off
everybody. Because they're like, oh, you look good, and then you turn around, you're like, oh yeah, I do look good, but this is all my stuff.
Oh Lord,
can you help me? I mean, like, I really like you. I mean, but I'm just, yeah. They go, dang, you look good. Like, you ever heard a guy say, oh man, she look good, but man, she got problems. This is your problem. Like, nobody wants this, especially when you're just trying to do life as a person yourself. So if you walk in there with just like something like this, like, oh, Donovan, if you walking like this, hey, I got this little bag, I'm working through it, I'm trying to unpack this stuff, I got a couple of things in here I need to get rid of, and I'm working through it, so if you recognize it, please let me know, so I can go ahead and fix it. That is like bing, 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 bing. Okay, I can go ahead and pass go with this person. But if all you're doing is holding on to it and act like you don't see any of it, I don't know. What you talking about? What you talking about? I'm not insecure. I don't have no issues.
All the things in your hand right there. You don't see no, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, that's emotional baggage. Now, how do you deal with emotional baggage effectively? Okay. First, I'm sorry. So how do you deal with someone who has emotional baggage? How to deal with someone who has emotional baggage? Pay attention to their feelings and be empathetic, it says. So pay attention to their feelings. And remember, I have posted this reel on our page, that you have to remember your own weaknesses when you're trying to point out somebody else's weaknesses. So it's very important that even though this person may have a little bit of unfinished emotions, that you are empathetic to it and remembering, what, I may not be going through what you're going through, but I have gone through some stuff. So it's like, doing that. It says stay connected with your community. So you're involved with someone who has emotional baggage. It's important for you to stay connected with your friends, because some of us, we start dating people and we go, forget our friends. I've been waiting for a long time for this man. I ain't got time to be hanging out with y'all. We do that. Like
ghosting your friends.
Now look, so it's like it's important for you to stay connected with your community, because then they can recognize if this new person is affecting your mood, affecting your life in a negative way.
I had that.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say I had that. I remember I was dating somebody, and then after I told my friends that we broke up, They were like, "Oh, so glad." I'm like, "What?" And they told me all of these things that they saw along the way, but they were they were trying to be good friends, so they were trying to be supportive, but they were like very happy and relieved that we broke up. I'm like, huh, interesting. I was blinded by the light, for sure. So yeah, the community is key. The community is key. If the community is doing their part, yeah. No. So do your part, community. Make sure you're doing your part.
Absolutely. So it's very important for you to say, if you have friends, don't cut them off.
Mm-mm. Don't do it. Oh.
Don't cut them off just because you're please again, y'all.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. You're there. I hear you.
Hold on. Oh no. I don't know what's because respect your partner's internal struggle. So that's key because some emotional baggage, like we talked about earlier, is from childhood trauma. And so they can have this fear, they can be defensive about certain things, they can have an insecurity, all because of things that happened to them in their childhood. So it's like respect their internal struggle on how to deal with it, and just like we said earlier, be empathetic to them and like try to help them on how to deal with it if they want to deal with it. The key thing is that you cannot make somebody want to heal themselves. Okay. You cannot make somebody do that. So if they are a willing participant in their own healing, then you can come along and help them, but you should not be trying to do it for them. That is key. You should not be trying to help somebody unpack their emotional baggage. They should be a willing participant in their own healing, because if they can't face the things going on with them, then how can they effectively come in and love you and face any kind of difficulty that may happen between the two of you? So it's very important that you are a helper. You are not the person that's doing it. Okay. It says be tactful and honest about your own fears and how their behavior affects you. So if someone is always insecure, defensive, or there are a lot of people out here who are very they're combative. Like they just like to argue. So be honest with them and say, you know what, my fear in this relationship is that if we keep arguing like this because you don't want to, because you're not seeing my side of things, or everything has to be your way, my fear is that this relationship is going to end. So do you want that? And express to them how their behavior affects you. If their behavior makes you feel sad all the time or stressful, if you bring it to their attention and they don't want to change, then it's time to go ahead and exit. Now, if you're married and you bring it to their attention and don't want to change, then that's when you need to seek professional help. You need to go to counseling. Now, you can go to counseling if you're in a relationship and you're not married. You can seek couples counseling as well. But do everything you can to work that situation out before try to exit, especially when you're married. And it says be honest with yourself about what you are able to tolerate. Let me tell you something. I'm from a faith-based standpoint, we as Christians think that we're supposed to tolerate everything somebody brings to us. We are Jesus in disguise in a whole we're like, it's okay. God says to love ourselves. So if I can tolerate myself, I can tolerate you. No, there should be
mercy.
Boundary. Just like that clip we showed y'all that said, this girl, all her friend wanted to do was just talk about all this bad stuff. And she's like, no, I don't have the capacity. And so you have to know what your capacity is when it comes to someone dumping their emotional baggage on you, and what you're able to tolerate. Because again, the measurement should be, is this person causing me to walk away from them better or worse? If I'm in their presence and they are making me feel worse, then I can't tolerate that, because now you are injecting your negativity into my peace space. There should be a peace space. Okay, no, we're not doing this. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the capacity. And so be honest with yourself about what you are able to tolerate. Because it is not good for you to try to take on someone else's problems. You are not Jesus. You are not God. The Bible says to cast your cares on him, not to cast your cares on your partner. It's good to vent and talk things out. But if you're always dumping stuff on people and you're never healing from it or learning from it, and you always asking somebody to pray, can you pray for me? Just like I just said, y'all pray for me for my time management. I need help. So, it's like you have to be able to, ask yourself, what can you tolerate? And you know what else? Be brave enough to walk away if you can't tolerate it. Again, not if you're married. I say that because you have committed to somebody, and there are other steps that you're supposed to take. This is my personal opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of nobody except for Tierra Monique. There are other steps that you should be able to take, that you should be wanting to take, to make sure that you've done everything possible to work your marriage out. Now, when you've done those things and that person is still causing a whole bunch of drama, then yes, because now that can cause a lot of stress to your body. It can cause you to become stress. Will cause you to get sick. I mean, you don't even know why, because you've been stressed. So yeah. So what do you think about the things that I just said, D?
I really agree. I think those are extremely important aspects of the whole situation, man. You have to know your boundaries, and you have to be able to know when it's time to walk away in context, right? If you, like you said, if you're married, you keep working and keep fighting. I like America's question here, where she said a friend was telling her that a lack of a best friend is proof that you have emotional deficiency. Wow. That there may be some truth to that. But it kind of is kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than just that, because who knows what your circumstances are? Who knows if you're like a very shy person, if you're antisocial? I mean, there's a lot of things that can go into that. Maybe you're a person that is how would I say it? The opposite. Maybe you give off a lot, and people are like, "Whoo, I would love to be friends, but I don't have the capacity. It is a little bit too much for me to take on." I've had friends like that. My sister is real low key, and she's real like just chill. And I know sometimes she's told me, "Yeah, so and so is my friend, but I gotta like prepare myself to be able to go and hang out with them because they're a lot." And so there's a lot of factors that go in there. I wouldn't say that is straight up like you ain't got no best friend. Emotionally deficient. Yeah. You got to work on that. You don't have a best friend, because those things be awkward sometimes, man. You don't know. Your situations
I would
are
say to
different.
that, America, that some people define best friend differently. So they may not label them as a best friend, but they could be like a really, really good friend that they have. I think it's very important not to focus on the labels of it, but it's
really, really, really good friend.
I think it's very important to focus on whether or not the person is someone that you can talk to. Like you can talk to them and you can trust them with your thoughts and with your emotions. I think, but again, a lot of people have different definitions of best friend, because to me, my definition of best friend is like, I can tell you everything and I can trust you with everything, but that shouldn't be the case. Because people are people. And if you, like, for instance, you have to be careful what you say to people who are married, because they can go back and tell their spouse. And if you don't want their spouse to know, then sometimes you're like, okay, wait a minute. That's like my bishop in Florida, he used to always say, if you come and tell me something, just know my wife is going to know. So,
wow.
and I was like, oh, okay. I guess
that's terrible, by the way.
He was talking about as far as like secret, I guess, like not holding secrets. But I think there should be a boundary, because if you know, you are
if you're a pastor,
if you are my friend, right, if you are my friend, then I should respect what you say. If you say, hey,
right.
don't tell anybody this, I'm not going to tell anybody this, because you are trusting me to keep your, it's not like it's a secret. It's not, it's difference between secrets and you telling me something that's going on, you know.
Yeah,
But
keeping confidence is different.
right,
Yeah,
keeping confidence, right, on how you feel, and so that person should be able to trust you. Not to say that every person who is married goes back and tell their husband or their wife, but you know, pillow talk does happen, and you know, it's like, girl, let me tell you what happened. It's like those things happen from time to time, but just know that I don't think you're emotionally deficient, but I do think that if you don't have anybody around you who you can confide in, I think that is an issue. I have come across that before, where I asked a guy, I said, you don't have any friends? And he was like, no, all I need is myself. Nope, that's not going to work. Because who are you talking to outside of God? Who else are you talking to outside of God? Yes, you can talk to God. Nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. That's the first person we should be talking to. But God sent people in our lives to be there for us, to help us to get through life together. You know,
companionship.
That's what community is all about. So, you know, but yeah, so I agree, but kind of on that one though. I think I forgot one earlier too. I think we were talking about what's this one? Because we tend condemn never letting go versus conviction brings. I agree. Oh, that's what I was talking about, as far as like us Christians trying to. I think that's what I was talking about then. Taking on everything. But yeah. Oh yeah, never letting go versus conviction.
Never letting
go
versus conviction.
not forgiving yourself. Like when you're not forgiving yourself, you confuse that with conviction, and that's not what it is. That's absolutely right. That was my mom. So that's
mom.
right.
Hi, mom. Yeah.
So as
Sorry
we
for
wrap
calling you
this
Glenda.
up, do you have any other stuff?
No,
okay.
man. I just wanted to share a scripture that I found.
Okay.
It had a good point. It's kind of more universal. 2 Corinthians 4:16 and 17. It says, therefore we do not lose heart, though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So the concept there is that, temporary current troubles can be outweighed by a future good that would last. So if you could focus on God's power, God has the power to bring like renewal to you as an individual and to you in the context of a relationship. So if you're working towards this goal, if you're inviting God into your work, then it will be more than just a dream. It will be more than just a goal. It will be a reality. Right. So like for me, my previous emotional baggage or unresolved trauma is much less now, because I literally was like, God, man, I can't live like this. Like, help me, please. Like, get the reality of this. And it happened. So I can testify to that, relying on that power as being a true way to move past move through. I'll say move through, not past, but I'll say move through, because you're working through it and coming out stronger on the other end of your work.
That's good. That's good stuff. I have a quote. It says, the past is not a compass for your future. Give yourself permission to chart a new course. And that is by Stephanie Lee Mulak. So basically, your past is not the barometer for your future. Your past is your past. So all the things that happened in your childhood, all the things that happened in that last relationship, it is not the compass of your future. But you can give yourself permission to chart a new course. You can give yourself permission to have a new type of normal. You know, you don't have to have the insecurity, you don't have to have the anxiety, you don't have to have those things that in your past now in your future. You can learn from them and grow and chart a new course in life. Like, okay, you no longer have to sit in um that insecurity. Like this guy told me, he was like, sometimes we still hear the other person talking from a past relationship, and we can't, all we hear is that negativity. And when we hear the negativity, we can't allow the new person to come in and give us positivity because we can't hear them. And so it's like, basically, it's giving yourself permission to not hear that anymore. Giving yourself permission to hear the positivity, to accept the love, to accept the new, knowing that this new thing is not the old thing. So don't keep measuring what happened in your past. Don't keep measuring your future based on what happened in your past. The past is always going to be there to help us, not for us to continue to live through it. Because some of us hold on to our past. We hold on to our past like a badge of honor. Like, yes, I went through. We walk around that thing with it's a chain, a ball and chain. We just walking around with it. Yeah, let me tell you about what happened to me, because we have not given ourselves permission to explore new things, to receive new opportunities. So yes, let's let go of the past and let's give ourselves permission. Oops, I'm just kidding. Let us give ourselves permission to have a better way of life and to experience it. Okay. So that was it for another episode of Talking Up with Tierra Monique. We thank y'all so much for joining us today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to all of everything that we do. We are at The Way Love Goes Pod on Instagram. We have a email address is thewaylovegoespod@gmail.com. You can also catch us here every Friday at 2:30. If anything changes, we will let you know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, you guys. So
and do it for The Way Love Goes Pod, not Talk It Up with Tierra Monique. That's her email. That's her her podcast. But this one is called The Way Love Goes. Yeah, absolutely.
Did I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you said that.
The Way Love Goes Pod.
It's a good podcast. Check it out.
The Way Love Goes Pod at Gmail. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I think I was thinking about that earlier and I forgot. But yes, The Way Love Goes Pod, you guys. It's all good. So, but thank you again, and tune in next time so you can know the way
love
goes. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Peace and blessings.